I'm done with Velcro. I get it. Velcro on shorts for Jiu-Jitsu, especially for those of us who balloon up and down. Guilty. They can be our friend. However, for long-term effects, you know that wear and tear. I am putting out a challenge to try and figure out who has the best shorts in Jiu-Jitsu. Here's the way it's going to work. If you guys are watching this right now, I want you to put in the comment section what you believe are the best shorts in all of Jiu-Jitsu. In terms of length, doesn't have to be short shorts, but I'm not looking for basketball shorts. I've already done that. Have a couple pairs. What I'm looking for is, what is the best bang for the buck? This summer, this is what we're going to do. We're going to put together a tournament with bracketed seeds to figure out who has the best shorts in all of Jiu-Jitsu. And yeah, even if you're a brand owner, chime in. Tell us what the best ones are. And if you've got some Velcro that you say, Raph, you can't ignore this one, prove it to me. Because I've had a few pairs of shorts, and sometimes the ones that you think are going to be the best aren't. We're going to try them out during the summer, and by the end, we will resolve with a tournament winner so that we give the official Grappling Hour recommendation. And speaking of which, don't go anywhere. You're watching the Grappling Hour. What is up, friends? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, Raph Esparza, with an excellent episode of Grappling Hour in store for you guys. But I got to ask first, are you a member of our Grappling Hour subscriber base? I'm not just talking about YouTube, though I'll take your subscriptions here. I'm talking about HY.PAGE/Grappling Hour. Why would you want to become a member? I'll tell you why. Two reasons. Number one, you get early access. So we have a membership where you get these interviews 30 days before anybody else. And yeah, you're going to see 10 minutes of the interview previews right here on this episode. However, if you want to see the full ones, we ask that you go to, again, HY.PAGE/Grappling Hour and become a member for early access. But Raph, what's the second tier? The second tier is what we call premium access. So for our premium members, what we do is we give them additional content. So we're talking bonus episodes. And recently we've been doing a lot of tape studies with our guests. In fact, we do one with our friend here, JOE SOLECKI, about his most recent fight. And if you keep an eye on our site, you will see one with our good friend Ethan Cronston, where he actually talked about his championship win against Nathan Orchard. So that's what we got going on that site. But today, we're going to start with our good friend JOE SOLECKI, who is a beast. He's one of our dear friends here at the show, and can't be more excited for him. Not only did he announce his own version of a tournament called All In Grappling, check it out on the interwebs, but we also discovered in the time since we did this interview that he's going to be competing in the Fight Pass Invitational, a grappling tournament with some of the biggest names. You get Anthony Pettis, Jorge Masvidal, a bunch of really big players within the sport. Uriah Faber, you name it. I'm very excited for this, so you won't hear me ask any questions about this, but you will hear some questions about reality TV shows, because the man is addicted. And he's kind of mean to his wife. Not super mean, but like, in that, man, are you okay? Because she might kill you. Because those of us who are married, we know what that's like. So let's check out the first 10 minutes of our interview with our good friend, JOE SOLECKI. And I guess before I do the throw to him, I do have one question, which is, why is it that he is playing so dangerously close to the edge with his wife? Because I see on his stories, my man puts videos of her crying on the internet, and it makes me think, as also someone who is married, yikes. So I guess my first question to our friend JOE SOLECKI is, yo, are you going to be okay in the future, or are you going to be living outside that house, sir?
You know, if I go missing, I am not suicidal, nor have I ever been. And no, I think that's one of the reasons. I mean, there's so many reasons why I married my lovely wife, but like, she likes it now, though. When I post that stuff, she gets a lot of responses from people, and she eats it up. Don't let it fool you. She'll go, no, stop recording. But then she's like, all right, take two, you know?
So, okay, good. I'm glad that you guys are marketing this to the rest of us as what seemed like innocent fun is now turning into a whole production that you got like, no, manufacture honestly, those tears. Come on.
I'm just kidding, because every time she's like, stop, it's not. But she is a truth about it. And she does laugh. She goes, at least you can tag me in it, because people know me as the crier now. And I'm like, okay,
So I have to ask, in this last version, what was she crying at? Like, what are you typically filming her crying at? Because I was trying to figure out what it was, and it sounded like, is it a reality show? Like, what is she crying at?
So this time, yes, and the scenario I could see it. I guess it was touching, but it could be any. It could be anything. I mean, the woman's tear ducts have no discretion. It could literally be anything, and that's what's amazing about it. But this time, it was married at first sight, and the girl's father had passed away, and the father of the guy that she had never met before at the wedding came up and asked her to dance, and I don't think he knew, and it was nice. It was nice. It was one of those things where you go, "Wow, that was really nice." I don't know that you sob, but if you're Casey, you sob. That's why I love her so much. She is just a sweet person.
Well, let me reveal to you on this side of the conversation. I'm not immune to this either, but it's normally off camera. The difference is that yesterday my wife, while I was cooking, I say, what are you going to put on? Because she's watching one of her TLC shows, and I'm not about any of that. So I'm thinking to myself, I go, we have only maybe an hour and a half to watch something together. I've got to do stuff. You got to do stuff. We're going to sleep soon. What are you putting on? And she goes, oh my God, I'm so glad you're here. I paused this to watch with you. And I go, what is it? And she goes, one of the guys from the TLC shows, he's fighting in MMA. And I go, I don't want to watch it. And she goes, why? I was saving this to watch with you. And I thought to myself, why is that appealing to me? I don't want to watch some manufactured dude fight MMA. I have enough people in my life who are trying to fight MMA, do fight MMA. And then guess what? I come and do this to talk to people who actually are fighting MMA. The last thing I want to do is go, let's put it this way. She looked at me and she says the technique, and she sees like the dude's work as some striking. And she goes, what do you think of his striking? And I go, terrible. What do you expect? Like, I don't have great striking either, but it's not that. So
you got to stay in your lane. You know what I mean? You have to stay in your lane.
It's so hard to explain to her that it demeans the process. Like, yeah, it puts it on for a show. But to me, I'm like, yo, I guess it's kind of nice that he's learning MMA, but I'm not going to give this the benefit of, oh, this is exciting quality television. This is something a producer or the guy said, let's try and make them do. So I'm not, no. Having said that, though, it does occur to me that you have still yet to fulfill a bet to my co-host, Kevin, a verbal tap. Now, do you even remember what the bet is? Because
I remember losing, and I remember I needed to say something. It was ABC. It was the ABC card. And this hit me like the beginning of this camp. And I was like, well, I don't want to be the weird guy that hits him up. Because like, I'm a man of my word. And I was like, I can't remember what I was supposed to do. It was something with ABC. And I'm like, wow, I did not fulfill my word. And I thought about it. So I'm like, well, I will probably be on the show as long as I win another fight at some point or do something jiu-jitsu related. So I'm sure it will come up. And here we are. So I did remember this, but it was like, this is what happens when you get punched in the head and you're busy. I don't know which one's which and what caused it, but I totally forgot.
So let me fulfill you on what it is. And you know what's great is I do my best to always steer the bets. As the moderator, my job is to make sure things are fair to you, things are fair to Kevin. We've had people who are coming from a military background being like, well, loser shaves their head. And I go, listen, dude, Kevin doesn't have a lot going on, but you take away that mane of hair, it gets a little rough here. So on your particular one, I remembered you and Kevin bonding over the fact that you were both fans of the Bachelor franchise, whether it's intentional or the fact that you have to do it. So then we said, well, given ABC, you should have to do a commercial. Now, granted, I work in television, so when I hear both of you being like, we'll give it a free commercial, I go, this is the weirdest freaking bet. But you know what? No one's getting harmed. It's just a matter of who wins, who loses. So, yeah, I think you were supposed to do a glowing review, if not The Bachelor, some ABC property, because it was for that ABC card. But there was a strong inclination from both of you that it would be to praise the Bachelor franchise. So I guess now that I have you here and you're on video, would you like to take the opportunity to explain your love of the Bachelor, and then maybe we can count that?
Yeah. Okay. So I have to edit. We're going to backdate it and say pre this year, we love The Bachelor. We did. We love The Bachelor. It is what it is.
So wait. No. I put the camera on you for a split second, but now I need to know, why is this breaking news? Why do you not like The Bachelor anymore?
I don't know. I don't know what happened. You know, my wife decided, one of the contestants, she's like, I don't want to watch it. This is where I'll shamelessly be like, I was still interested. You know, good TV is good TV. And when it's good TV, it's good TV. You know, but it in hindsight, I feel like I had an awakening and I was like, oh, this is trash. You know, but I watched for like 15 seasons. It's too late to go back now. Like, that's like when I watched All Jersey Shore. I kept watching and kept watching and kept watching. And then I go back now and go, that show's terrible. It was pretty good. It was pretty captivating. The Bachelor's the same way. It's such a foreign concept to me. I pretty much, like, I had one, like, ex-girlfriend before my wife. Like, I didn't date a lot. It's like, I knew what I wanted. I found my wife. I'm like, I'm marrying you, you know? The concept of, like, yo, you don't know till the day of. Like, this is ridiculous. You people are nuts. It's like a whole other universe. So, oh, man, it gets my attention. It's good. Especially after training all day. You're tired. I don't want to watch some documentary. I mean, I do. I like to learn stuff, but I'm too tired for that. Put on something mindless where I can laugh at other people's problems, and oh man, it is captivating. I don't care. Bachelor, Bachelorette, it's good. It's good stuff, but it's awful.
Okay, I guess I should maybe twist what my wife was trying to do to me to put it in your realm. If you had the opportunity, and maybe on one of those trash shows that you're watching, there was a moment where they're fighting MMA or they're learning to fight because you know that's what they're building to as a story arc. Is that when you check out? Because I need to know if I am being insane here, too mean, because I literally never say don't watch something. I just put on my headphones and started cooking and I went somewhere else. But would you do the same, especially after coming from an MMA practice when this is supposed to be your escapism fun?
Yes, because they had a wrestling contest the one time and it was atrocious. And oh, it was just like, dude, like, these aren't even like, here's the thing, like, we hang around, you're in the jiu-jitsu gym, and we have people from all walks of life, all personality types, but the one factor there is, like, you know, all the men and women there are tough that train, you know what I mean? Like, in some facet, doesn't mean you have to look a certain way or act a certain way, and I'm like, she's trying to pick from these men, it's an easy pick, none of them, these are, like, this is, you know, like, someone's gonna break in their house, they're gonna be like, honey, I'm going to hide, you take care, like, this is terrible, but then, that, and you know what else I think what kind of ruined me was going to the Contender Series for the production and the pre-production stuff, like, months ahead of time, and seeing how the meat's made. I'm hitting the bag. I'm not sweaty. They sprayed my whole body down with water and my gloves, and I go, oh, this is editing. That's editing. I'm pretty sure none of this is real. And then that's where I was like, well, this ruined it for me. So those two things. Anytime they try to do something fight related, and knowing that, you know, I'm on TV going, tonight I'm going to shock the world, and I filmed it, you know, 16 weeks prior. You're like, this ruins it. I didn't say this today.
Let me see if I get this straight. The thing that ruined it for you was knowing that you weren't naturally glistening, and that to get the effect, they sprayed you, and you go, but I wanted to earn this. I thought it was going to be super cool of me punching a bag, and then how long would it take for me to break well, I mean, a bit, but I mean, it would look cool and be authentic. So
I'm not good with the stuff for show. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, hey, what's 3 exercises you like? Do 2 reps. I'm like, why don't you just let me get a workout and follow me around for 30 minutes, and I'll give you all the content you need. It's not real. I never gone for a run on the beach.
We don't got time for that. Listen, this is how you can tell you're working with somebody as a novice in TV. Like, so I have worked on some reality and some game shows, and, you know, naturally talent has ideas, and your job sometimes as a producer or coordinator or whatever you're doing is you sit there and you listen to the ideas and you go, right, our staff is going to be going into double overtime, so we have to shoot this. I hope that you enjoyed that interview, and if you want to see the full thing and our premium only version of tape study with him, go to HY.PAGE/GRAPPLINGHOUR. See the rest of that interview if you're an early access member, or if you're a premium member, you not only get the early access, but you'll get to see that tape study. And there were some things that he was talking about that he was able to dig deep in that fight that I was really, really happy to hear, not only because he's a friend of the show, but just the techniques and his perspective as to what helped him to win that fight. Speaking of people who win fights, Eddie Bernal is a standout here in the SoCal scene. This young man has a very bright future. He's an amateur, but if you look at the way he is progressing from fight to fight, I think you'd be hard pressed to say that good things aren't in the future for this young man. So I got the opportunity to go talk to him in person. I love doing interviews in person. And I got to tell you, this kid was exactly who I thought he would be. Super nice, hard worker, super humble. And I think this interview shows a good side of him. So if you don't know who he is, get to know him right now. And if you want to see this interview in full, you got to go to HY.PAGE/grappling hour. But check out these first 10 minutes and see if you don't find a new appreciation for a young man by the name of Eddie Bernal. I saw the young man to my left, your right, recently fight. He was really good. His jiu-jitsu was really solid. I was really impressed. And I was photographing that fight. And when I went back to go look at some of the photos, I said, yo, you know what? I really want to interview this guy. He was kind enough to not only give me his time, but to also train a little bit with me, thus us still in rash guards. Just finished training with him. Let me just confirm, monster, excellent wrestling, excellent mount, excellent from back. I mean, literally just the control. I don't want to call him a Khabib, but, you know, we're working toward that. And definitely a good study of that. But he recently fought for True Promotions. My man here, you're 6-0 right now?
Yes, sir.
Congratulations as an AMI, an excellent fighter here on the SoCal scene that I wanted you guys to get to know. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Eddie Bernal. Eddie, how you doing, sir?
Good, man. Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
You know what? I will tell you, it is weird to switch off the gear, because when I did this and I had this grip, I was like, I had a better grip there than I did the entire time we were rolling. So let me ask this, man. You have such a great jiu-jitsu game, but I could tell that you were a wrestler. Just by watching you a little bit, I was like, yeah, this dude's wrestled a little bit and learned how to do jiu-jitsu. Where did all of like wrestling or martial arts start for you?
So for me, it started back in high school. I started wrestling around January of my sophomore year. So season was already in progress, and I just started doing the practices. And then, so I didn't compete till my junior and senior year. But ever since, like, I would say January of like 2015, I started wrestling, started doing all the camps and stuff throughout summer. Just wrestling was year-round thing. And I enjoyed the activity of wrestling. Like, it was just, I like getting in there and learning all the moves and seeing how everything transitioned together. And it was really fun. But I always really liked the jiu-jitsu aspect of it. I liked watching jiu-jitsu and learning how to like do chokes and arm bars and all that. So I knew I always wanted to do that. I just didn't know how I was going to get into it or where. It would just always be me and my friends messing around in the wrestling room. And
so I want to stop here because we were talking off air.
Right.
And again, I'm a pro wrestling fan.
Right.
I learned that you actually can predate this in bounce castles. Is that where it started? Like, is that how Hispanic you are?
Pretty
that
much.
Your family was just like, all right, we're going to get a bounce castle. And what happens? I don't see. Because back then, I don't know if kids know this now. Families would buy a bounce castle and all bets were off.
Pretty much.
I remember once in a bounce castle, I think I lost my breath for the first time, and I dumped out of bounce castle afterwards, and I thought I was dying. And I was trying to go back to the party to be like, and then right as I was about to see my sister and go like, I can't, shit, it's back. Okay. Legitimately thought I was dying for the first time, like an idiot child. But is that where that goes to you?
I can relate to that. Yeah, I had a bunch of older cousins, and we were always watching WWE all the time, and so I was the test dummy. They would pick me up and slam me. They would do Batista bombs, and they would pedigree me and everything. Every single move, like, okay, well, let's see if this works and see how this works and all that. So I was taking all the bumps.
Did you get any offense in?
No, not for a while.
No.
I try to now. When I see them now, I'm like, hey, let's go in the bounce castle, and they don't want it anymore.
Well, I mean, you're a fighter now, so you now it's a little bit different. But I'd always wondered, did you have a finishing move that you liked or that you tried to emulate?
I don't know. The pedigree was always probably one of my favorites. The thing was, I was always too little, so if I was trying to get in that position, they would just stand up. And then it was
that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
What was the worst bump to take? Like, what was the worst move to take?
I would probably say the spear was the worst one to take. I would get speared from hell like every single time, and it's like one person would be talking in front of me, and then I would turn around, and then I would just get speared like Goldberg style, dude. Like
where it's really like they're hurting you, kind of a thing. Oh
bad.
man,
yeah.
So if that's the case, did you take those habits with you into the wrestling room? Because now you had people that you could kind of mess around with that were friends,
Right.
but not family who, you know, sometimes when they're just older and they're bigger, they can use that to get away with doing stuff.
Right. Yeah, no, it wasn't much different, honestly, when I first went into wrestling. Everybody was doing the same thing. Like, people would double leg me and they would like, oh man, the crossface, like everything was, I would get it all the time. And then it wasn't really till like, I would say a little bit, summer probably like going into my junior year. Actually, sorry, summer going into my sophomore year, I started to have, summer going into my senior year, I was starting to have more success. And I was starting to like catch some guys, you know, like, I'd catch them in pins. I would get lucky. I would pretty much just get lucky. Yeah. And then, but I always like to talk, you know, at least if I was going to get my ass kicked, at least I was going to have some fun while I was doing it.
Oh, see, I didn't know. If I would have known that, I would have changed my whole role with you.
No, yeah.
Because we had a short discussion of how I can trash talk and actually get good moves or good passing. Mm. I was too like, I don't know you. Right. Like, we're just starting to roll. It was very friendly. You were very nice with your pressure as opposed to what I've seen in fights. If that was the case, I would have been roasting you the whole time.
I know. I kind of wish you would have. That would have been way better. I always, whether I'm playing, my family, they'll be watching this, and I know they will. But like in Monopoly, I'm the guy you don't want to win. Like you won't hear the end of it. So now I don't think I'll ever win another game of Monopoly just because they all work against you. Work against me. They don't want to hear it. So,
do you inhabit a character, or is it you? Do you just inhabit like the worst version of yourself? Because when you mentioned that you're trying to beat your family at Monopoly, all I could think about you is with like a Cuban hat and a cigar, being like, "It's gonna be $200 to park it here."
Yeah, no, exactly. That's exactly what it is. I'm like, you know, I know what properties I have, and I'm like, you better hope you don't roll a 4 because then you're gonna have to pay up, you know. And I'll be making deals with them, and I'm like, if you don't make this deal, I'm not going to make it again. Like, you're not getting this offer again. And you're going to hear it.
So you're just going cutthroat businessman the entire time. It's like, I see you've got 5 properties left. What can we do about that right now?
Exactly. Yeah. And so, but now they know better. And so they don't let me have anything. Now nobody wants to make deals with me. Which I think is almost better because it's like, you know, you know, I'm dangerous.
I'll tell you this. I'll make you a promise. The next time we roll, I will do nothing but talk trash to you.
I love that.
And I feel, because again, a lot of my friends know this, and I really try to be honest about it. I don't just openly talk trash to people, but you have to be a certain caliber of person and technique. And I think that talking trash to people who are above you, they're clearly on the joke where you go like, oh, they're beating me.
Yeah.
I've just barely met. Excellent jiu-jitsu, excellent wrestling. But I venture to say I'd probably do better with the ability to be like, you call this side control?
Yeah.
Is that cool? I thought you won fights, man. I thought this was, you know, it's what we do.
Yeah, I definitely have a couple people in here that we roll with, and we're talking the whole time, and it's, you know, it's fun. And then you have some people where it's like, I know if I say something, I'm gonna get it back. Like I'm probably gonna pay for it. That's part of the fun.
What is the worst roast that you have ever had mid roll or a mid wrestling match that like just stayed with you? Because I'll tell you one, and I'll give you time to think about it. I'm known, and you know this now, but in my circles, they like to call me Captain Defense, or they know that I'm a very defensive grappler. So one of my homies, really good MMA fighter, he and I talk trash to each other consistently. And I do it because I know it pulls out better versions of him. And again, I'm like, dude, I know if you weren't like this, I couldn't do it. But he would always be like, yeah, dude, you're just a defensive grappler. And I was like, but I'm tapping you. And he's like, yeah, but you know, I was winning. And I was like, till you didn't. So one day I went up to him this actually week. We put up a video of this, and I go over to him. I'm like, hey man, come here. It was like the end of class. I just set up like my camera. I walk over to him and I go, hey man, I was thinking about this. You know how you call me a defensive grappler? He goes, yeah, you are. And I go, right about that. I realized the only times, and you've only tapped me like a couple times, that you've ever tapped me, it was off of stuff that I initiated. So actually, that makes you more of a defensive grappler. The dude laughs, walks away, and flips me off. And then the next day when we went to go train, he goes, I was really thinking about what you said. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, you're fucking right, man. I literally went back to think, like, when have I tapped Raph? So I knew it. I told him, I'm like, I got in your head, huh? And he goes, yeah, man. But that day we trained, much better. He was really bringing it. Didn't have me, but he was bringing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can think of one actually. I was rolling with my friend Calston, purple belt, very, very good. And he's a tall, like lanky guy, like really tall, like 6'5" or something like that. And super flexible. Like his guard is just insane. And so I remember one time I passed his guard and then I got on top and I was a white belt when I started. And I think he was a blue belt. So he's always a belt above me. And then I had him, like I took his back and then like I had him like in a kind of like a sliding collar type choke. And then time ran out and I was like, dude, I had you. And then he pulled out like the old like Fast and Furious. He was like, you never had me. You never had me for a second. And so I think about that now. I was like, anytime we get close to catching him, I'm like, I don't think I'm actually close to catching him as close as I think I am. He's very good.
Man, but again, everybody has something that you don't think would cut deep where you're like, oh, you just quoted the Fast and the Furious at me. Meanwhile, you go home. I should have had it. All right, that's going to do it for this week's episode. My thanks to both JOE SOLECKI, EDDIE BERNAL, their time and their friendship, very much appreciated. Honestly, I don't know that I could pick two better or nicer people to have conversations with, but two really, really fun ones. And I hope you like it. If you want to see them in full, again, HY.PAGE /GrapplingHour. And while you're at it, if you could give us a like and a subscription and a notifications reminder on our YouTube page, that really helps us out because we're putting a lot of content up there. So we're putting up clips on a regular basis. When the interviews go unlocked after 30 days, that's when you get to see them. If you like this preview and you want to wait a month, perfectly fine. But if you want to see it right here, right now, I highly suggest checking them out now. And you can go again, HY.PAGE /GrapplingHour. But those who get notifications on our YouTube page are the first people to find out when things are unlocked, when we put up new clips, and sometimes just YouTube-specific content. And coming up next week, we're actually going to have a fight companion over at New Ground Jiu-Jitsu, which is celebrating its 1-year anniversary. I love these people. They are near and dear to my heart. I cannot wait to go celebrate with them. And we're going to have some fun surprises for you guys on that one. So for UFC 276, where Gabe Green, previous guest, is going to be fighting on, be sure to join us. It's going to be from New Ground Jiu-Jitsu. We're going to be on all day, night, whatever you want to put it. It's going to be a fun one. So do not go anywhere. I think that's going to do it for us. And don't forget to chime in. Even if you put in which shorts are the best, you can put it in on this comment section here as well. I want to hear from it. I want to put together a good bracket for this tournament. And I've heard so many people complain about good grappling shorts. I want to be able to create a way where we can have people argue and create good arguments for this specific thing. So feel free to chime in with those notes. That's what I got for you guys today. It has been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats.